Hey everybody. I was just thinking before I started this video what I was going to say. I usually in my mind, I kind of rehearse how should I start the video, what kind of points should I be making, what should I leave out, because some videos I could literally probably talk for an hour. Anyway, it's Sunday. It's pretty empty here out on the Main Street downtown area. You can see not a lot of people out here, just to show you what's going on. Not a lot of traffic. That's why I like to actually come out here and walk, is because there's not a lot going on, surprisingly. Like, there's restaurants opens, but there's not the office buildings that are out. This is all like office buildings, banks, and crap all over the place. So it is actually kind of quiet down here. Just a few cars. You know, when I was gonna say, well, you know, when COVID started, there was a lot less traffic because people weren't going to work, and it was like, that was like the coolest thing about COVID, is like you could drive places like Sunday every day. That's what. But COVID-19, not so good. Anyway, just to clarify, this is not about COVID, and this is not about race relations. Today's video is gonna be about a story about something that happened in 2019, and I think you might find it maybe enlightening or entertaining if you just you have to hang around to the end. Let's see. I think my camera was a little dirty there. Better? So, like I said, this might be one of those long videos. I might have to cut it in half. I never know till I get to the end of the story, because I feel like I could probably talk a long time today. And some of you people are probably going, oh, clicked it off. I understand. Rambling videos aren't my favorite video. I'm like an kind of impatient person. When I watch people, I have to fast forward through the video. So feel free to fast forward at any point by just touching the screen. That's the way mine works on my phone. Just touch the screen on the right and you can fast forward like 10 seconds at a time. So the subject of the story is a tennis group that I was in 2019, like right around the beginning of the year, I think it was. So we have the tennis place is actually a block down this way, right down here. It's called Payne Park Tennis Center. So I had played for years, like years and years from there, and then I went to a different club and came back. And in, let's say 5 years before that, maybe around 2015, I hurt my back really bad. And I had some kind of, I think I had like a disc injury that was impinging on a nerve, and at certain days, like I couldn't do anything, and it was like I'd wake up and my back would be just stiff as a rock, you know. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. And I wish the sun was not so. Yeah, it's like right in the side of my eyes. Is that better? Yeah, so I'm sure everybody's had a back injury at some point in their life, from sitting or standing or doing yard work, or I went to go lift a heavy box and I, you know, but this, at the time, I didn't have health insurance, so I never really sought any medical for it, except for I got acupuncture for it, which temporarily helped. I couldn't afford to go a lot. Anyway, so I started stretching, and then I decided to get back into tennis because the stretching helped me actually get to where I could move again, and started running and stuff and exercising, and thought maybe I'd give tennis a try again after not playing for like 4 or 5 years. So I started playing at this tennis park, and I'm hitting against the wall. For you non-tennis people, here, I'll shine you away from the sun so you don't have to look at that big sun glare. So I started playing against the wall to see how my back was going to respond, because tennis is really a really what would you say, high impact sport. You know, you're like running sideways and forwards and stooping and jumping and sliding, and if you play on clay, you do a lot of sliding, and it's really hard on your legs and your knees and your shoulders, which I have issues with all this. I got foot problems and, you know, pretty much every problem, back problem, shoulder problems. Let's speed forward a little bit. So I meet a guy, he tells me that they have this group on Thursday nights that they play, and he's like, if you want to come play with us, you know, just call this lady. So I call the lady, she's like, okay, we'll put you in the lineup. And basically how this group worked was that say you have you're going to have doubles, which is 4 people on a court, and then you have, let's say you have 4 courts, so you have, what's that, 4 times 4, 16 people. So you'll have 16 people, and then they mix it up and they try to pair you with somebody who's similar to your capability, your level, your playing level. So anywhere from like a 2 to a I don't know, 4. Really, a 5 is like a college level player level. A 4 is like somebody who plays in tournaments, and a 5 would be like, I think a 6 is a pro level player, something like that. I don't really know the system. It's some USTA system that they rated, but I'm like a 4 or 5, so I'm like pretty good when I can move. I'm a fairly good player. Somebody had some dogs over there. People are walking their dogs. Every time I see somebody on the sidewalk, I'm just like, should I walk around them or should I go past them because I don't have a mask on? There's somebody jogging down there. All right, let's not make this a 4-hour video. So, I start playing in this group, and at some point, that chick's pretty hot too. Somebody jogging over there. Wow. Actually, I couldn't see her that close. I couldn't tell if she was hot or not. That hot. But anyway, stop being distracted. Focus. All right, so did I tell you I missed you guys? It's funny how you can miss people that you talk to on a camera through a video vlog or whatever you want to call it, as a podcast. But I do miss talking to you. It's like it's like a digital audience. Although I don't see you, I hear you with feedback, and I can kind of feel the I don't know. It's not like just talking to a camera, because I know people were watching this. So anyway, it's an interesting thing if you've ever done vlogging and stuff. It's interesting because the feedback you get is like sometimes, within an hour somebody tells you, oh, well, this happened, that happened. It's an interesting interface. It's like kind of like what we're going through with COVID right now, where you're talking to people on Zoom and stuff. You don't actually touch them or see them, physically, but you actually interface with people. So I don't know. It's an interesting thing. You're going on by the crazy art house. I always end up on the street by the interesting art house with all the interesting, cool. And this looks like this person's been putting out a lot of stuff. Halloween should be really good this year, I think. I see a couple more interesting new things there, like these piles of rocks. There's like these, I don't know what do you call piles of rocks? And there's some obelisks. I don't know, it looks like a tree trunk. Always interesting, always something new and special. Yeah, when Halloween rolls around, I wonder if there's going to be something interesting. That's why I'm attracted to coming to this area. They got some signs here. Political signs. I think there's a Biden sign over there. Okay, so back to the tennis. All right. So I end up meeting this guy. We're just going to call him Brad, for lack of a better, his real name. So Brad is this interesting, weird, crazy guy who, like, when I first meet him, he's like, do you like reading? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, I got a book out about this, and this. And he's like trying to push his book on me, and I don't even know what it's about. It's just some book about war or something. And I'm like, I don't really like that kind of stuff. But I got the feeling, and the other thing is when I came the first day, I guess he knew somebody through the emails, like it's a group email thing, so they knew that I was coming. So this guy was like asking me questions and stuff, this Brad guy. He was like a 70-year-old guy, and some of these people are younger and some of them are older. And there's some people there that are, maybe 20 or 30, and there's people there that are older. So anyway, this Brad, weird guy, I played with him, and what I first noticed is that he would talk a lot during the matches, which, generally speaking, you're not supposed to talk while the ball is in play. It's generally known by most sane people that when you're playing the point, you don't say anything except for like out, it's in or out. I've read the rules thoroughly, so I know this is a fact, that you're not really supposed to talk, because you can call that as your point if somebody's hindering you by saying something. You know, if they yell when you're trying to swing or something, you can actually call that point yours, just so you have an understanding of like how the game is played. It's a gentleman's game. It's invented in the 1800s, you know. It's like golf, you know, you don't talk when somebody's on their backswing. When somebody's teeing off, you don't talk. So I knew something was weird with this Brad guy right immediately. There's some major construction going on here when I have no idea. It seems like Sarasota is just like blocking off streets and doing major construction. Well, I'll have to come by here again and take a look at that. But meanwhile, look at this house with the hot pink fence. Can you see that? Interesting. Okay, so now that we have established that this Brad guy is a weirdo and he's crazy, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to make fun of mental illness. Don't go PC on me and be like, oh, maybe he has a mental problem. Well, he definitely had a mental problem, but he was also an asshole. So if you have mental problems and you're an asshole, I think that's on you, because you should be getting treatment or doing something to not be an asshole or something. You know what I mean? Maybe don't play tennis with people if you're an asshole. So, you know, I went through my medical and mental phases where I've had really rough times too. But I don't think I was being an asshole as well as being mentally, challenged at the time, whatever you want to call it. So one day we're playing, and like I said, it would bother me when I'd play this guy Brad, because it'd be me and somebody else and this Brad guy, and it was just really distracting. And at the time I didn't know that other people didn't like playing with him either, but nobody would really say anything. And then when I started asking around, people were like, oh yeah, he's got issues. Yeah. So to me, I'm thinking, why is this guy playing? Like, this is a league where you have to sign up and then somebody runs the league. It's not the tennis park. It's like one person's responsibility. And I played a lot of tennis. I've been playing tennis since the 1970s when I was a little kid. Okay. So I've interacted with hundreds of people and played in leagues before, and inevitably there is a person you don't like. You just have to put up with it. If you play on any kind of team, I played on baseball teams, golf, tennis. Inevitably, there's going to be somebody that you don't get along with. But this is the guy that everybody was sort of afraid of to say anything, because I guess he had a history of cussing people out or something. I learned all this after the fact. All right, so let's get down to the meat of the story. Is that this Brad guy is playing me one day, and I had played him twice before. Is this a light for me to go across? I gotta run. See, I'm running on the red hand, but you're not supposed to do that. So don't ever do that, kids at home, if there's a red hand up there. All right, so Crazy Brad is playing, and we're talking before the match, and I said something smart, which maybe I shouldn't have said. I said, hey, Brad, I'm playing you today, unfortunately. That was my sarcastic way of just poking fun, but I don't think he liked that because he didn't understand my humor. So, is this bridge closed off again? Good Lord. My God. It's like every road in Sarasota is closed off. So, we're playing, and this is how the dialogue went, is he said, I take medication because before I never used to talk to anybody. But now, after I taken, this is the Brad guy. He's saying, I'm taking this medication, now it makes me really talkative. Well, I think it was overstimulating, in my opinion, because I've taken medication where it makes you, it's sort of a stimulant. So I didn't mean to do that when I said stimulant. Sorry, I have itchy ears today. So he was talking, and I said, can you take a medication that makes you talk less? And there was another person sitting there too, and they started laughing. I don't think he liked that. So he walks up to me, and he does like a Spock mind meld thing where he pinches my shoulder really hard. Like we weren't good friends and we weren't old buddies, and I don't know. Sorry. It's hard to hold this camera without getting in the lens. I don't know what the hell that was, is him squeezing my shoulder. But at the time, I just said, well, maybe that's his way of being friendly or something. I don't know. Man, the sun is just like, don't ever shoot in sun like that, man. That's the worst. I don't think I've ever been down this street before. So the match went fine as well as it could go. But like I said, the guy talks, oh, that last one, you should have probably had that or something. Or, you know, I think he actually keeps stats in his brain, and he would like recite, you know, you've hit the last 8 of your serves in, but you only missed that one, or something like that. He would like have these weird things that he would say, and I would just do my best to shirk it off. It depended on what mood I was in, because I'm kind of a moody person. I could show up and be your best friend. The next day I could show up with a chip on my shoulder and just be kind of pissy, and that's kind of where I was at that point. So the pinch on the shoulder thing. So we played the match, and then a couple weeks later, I'd say maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, we were supposed to play at a place that was a public park instead of the park where we play, which is considered, you know, a pay-to-play place where it's like a club. This was just the public courts, and it was like 4 people, and I got invited to play with this group, and of course Brad was there. So as soon as I show up, Brad puts me, I guess Brad was in charge of this group, and I just didn't really realize what I was walking into. I felt like I was going to get ambushed in a way, because there was a couple older guys, they play on the other court, and then I was playing with this guy who I would say is a hack, a crappy player, and then Brad and his partner were better, and I knew the guys already, so I'm like, oh, this is great. So we start playing, and my partner misses like 3 of 4 shots, or whatever you want to say. You know, 8 of the 10 shots he either misses or hits in the net, and we lose the point, and it's not going well. Okay, so I'm kind of pissed off. You know, the fact is I was having a bad day, and I debated whether I should have not showed up or not, because it was like I woke up in the morning, I didn't feel that good, but then when I got there, I started realizing my patience wasn't very good, and that's a bad sign for me. Like if I get somewhere and stuff starts bothering me right away, just people doing whatever. So that's why I'm prefacing this specific incident by saying that, as I wasn't in the mood. I'm just saying I wasn't in the mood to take shit. That's probably what I'm trying to say. I wasn't in the mood to put up with Brad's shit. So Brad is talking during the point. So I stopped the point and I said, hey, you can't talk during the point. And I said, you know, we could take that point, but we need to play that over, because you can't say things. He was saying something about my player during the point, which I'm trying to tell you. The squirrel up there. A squirrel in a tree making a lot of noise. So I think you get my point. What I'm trying to say, right, is that it bugged me when people talk during points. Sometimes people, generally, if you ever play tennis, people will say, like, if the ball's going over your head, somebody will say back, or if they think it's going out, they'll say out, you know, it's going out. But like I said, technically by the rules, you're supposed to not be talking, as well as not talking to your opponents while the ball is going over the net. So, right? So I think I beat that dead horse enough. So he starts doing that shit, and I said, hey, you can't do that. So I'm sure that pissed him off. So then he walks over to his partner very loudly and says, don't worry, we won't invite him next time. And I'm thinking, did he just really say that? So I said, hey, what's that shit? I said, what are you talking that shit? And he raises his hands and goes, you know, I'm not saying I'm not crazy. And I'm thinking, what is happening now? Apparently, I pissed him off. And then he's talking shit about me across the net, of course. He wasn't talking to my face. He was, what do they call it? Passively aggressively talking to his partner about me while I'm standing on the court. So yes, that pissed me off. That was like that was like in Jurassic Park where the trailer was starting to go over the cliff and you're like, uh-oh, it's coming, it's coming. So I'm trying to hold it together. I'm pulling a McEnroe. I'm starting to get more and more pissed. John McEnroe, one of the famous guys who always gets pissed off at tennis matches. So that kind of blows over. We play that game, we sit down. He doesn't say one word to me because he's a big pussy is what it is. He's a tough guy when he's around other people, you know, when there's like people there, but he wouldn't say shit to me to my face about that. So we start playing the other way. We start a new point. We all get up. I'm thinking, you know, maybe he'll shut his big mouth now. Hoping, I guess I was being optimistic, thinking maybe since I told him to shut the fuck up, now he'll shut up. Try not to get ran over again. Here we go. That guy's waiting for me to cross. Thank you. Okay, that's just in case you're counting, that's 2 red hands that I crossed on. Where you're not supposed to walk across the crosswalk. A lot of people out walking today on a Sunday. All right, so next point. Brad starts talking to the people next to him, and he said some shit that was kind of like, you know, there's some people around here that need to learn how to lighten up or something, and, you know, taking it too seriously. Like I said, it was passive aggressive. He's talking to somebody else about me while I'm on the court. And I fucking lost it. And I walked directly across the court, walked over the net, got right up to him. I said, "What's the shit you're talking? What are you shit talking now?" And I said, "Just repeat what you said." And he was like, you're just a little sensitive. And I was like, I said, "Just say what you just said now." So I was pretty much pretty close to full on rage mode, not fighting, but like ready to get the fuck out of there. Basically, is what I do instead of like have a screaming match. I just like, it's not worth it. I'm leaving. So he said some blah 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 blah. You know, if you want to go, we can go anytime. So I'm thinking, is this guy insane? He's 70 years old. I'm like 25 years old, younger than him, and he's like basically calling me out, but he's not pushing me or anything like that. So anyway, I lost my fucking mind, and I said, you know, you got a big fucking mouth and you need to learn how to shut it. I walked off, started packing up my rackets. He said something else that was interesting. That was like, the longer you're here, the worse it's gonna get for you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm really fucking scared now. Yeah, because I get my ass kicked by 70-year-olds all the time, so. All right, so I packed my rackets. The other guys pretty much didn't say anything. Fair enough. If it was me that was watching somebody else go through that, I would have stood up for that guy who was being harassed on the court. Like I said, tennis is supposed to be a friendly tennis thing. It's not football, it's not baseball, it's not shit talking, it's not basketball where it's fair game. Okay, there's etiquette and protocol, as they would say in Star Wars. And mostly, unless you're playing in some ghetto league, mostly people will respect that. And I think I'm going down a dead end right now. So where does this leave us? So I pack my shit up, I go home, I'm just pissed. So I end up going to the tennis center and making a complaint because of the thing he did with the neck squeeze, because I was so pissed. Actually, what I did was I called some of the people. I'm trying to figure where I gotta go to this dead end to get out of here. I called some of the people who were in my league and I said, this is what happened. And they're like, oh, that's too bad. But they didn't sound like there was anything they could do about it. And the guy who was in charge of doing this Saturdays league, he was like, oh, okay, well, let me just talk to him and stuff. And it was obvious to me that he did not have the balls to stand up to this Brad guy. We'll just call him Larry. So Larry, I knew Larry wasn't going to do anything. I don't know where the hell I'm going. I usually don't walk down this way. There's like a river there or a stream. This is right by Selby Gardens. Some picnic tables there. Interesting. Never been down here before. Anyway, to make a super long story even longer. So I go to the tennis center and I said, this guy, oh, actually I went to the police department and I said, what's the definition of assault or battery or whatever you want to call it? He says, well, somebody puts their hands on you, that's bad, that's assault. And I said, if somebody pinches your shoulder really hard and you don't, that's something you didn't want, is that considered assault? And they said, yeah. I mean, I'm talking to a police officer at the front. So I just wanted to get my brain aligned because I was so, this wasn't directly after, this was like a day after or two. After I'd already talked to the people who I thought might be able to reason with him, but later I ended up finding out this guy's so fucking crazy, this Brad guy, that there's no reasoning. So I file a complaint, I go in there and like write this affidavit, and I actually mentioned the thing at the public courts, which is really not their territory, but I just put it in there and I filed this complaint, not knowing what was going to happen. And so I walk out in the courts and I saw these people that were running the tennis league. They were actually there at the time. Not the crazy guy, but the people who ran the league. And I told them I filed a complaint, and they come over and they were like disappointed in me. They were like, oh, well, I think we could have worked it out and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, you really shouldn't have done that. I mean, we were trying to talk to them, and I was like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Because you don't let somebody act like this and get away with it. You do something about it. You don't just say, well, you know, you shouldn't have. It wasn't, in my view, I've never had an incident where somebody has acted like that on the courts. Like I said, I've been playing tennis for like 30-something years. Never. I mean, people get mad. People get mad at themselves mostly. People will yell about dispute a line call, but it's not like a personal thing where you know, say something, we won't invite him or like this, and talk shit about somebody. Like I said, it's not basketball. It's not shit talking. Usually you try to do it after the match, after you've already played, then you shit talk people like a pussy instead of talking it to their face. So there's been incidences of craziness, but never like this. Because what I'm trying to make, the point I'm trying to make is I've never had some crazy person like just start shit talking on the court like this and get impersonal. So I filed that complaint. And then, so I don't go to this tennis thing anymore. And I call the lady who runs the tennis thing, and I'm like, you know, I just am so stressed out. I don't need this shit right now. I got plenty of other stuff in my life that's fucked up that I need to worry about. And this is not one of them. This is not one of those things I need to be adding onto my list of shit that's, you know, aggravating me, like work and money and relationships and, you know, trying to fix things. And that was the year when my refrigerator broke down, and 6 months before that my water heater broke down and it broke, and I had to replace that. So I was really out of money, and, you know, just air conditioners breaking, and seems like everything. I think that was also the year that the infamous roof, I got a hole in my roof, a big hole in my, like a fist-sized hole in my roof I had to fix. So it wasn't, you think 2020 was bad? I don't know. It's pretty close between 2020 and 2019 for me because of all the fucking money I spent trying to fix things that just randomly broke, you know. Because I understand appliances break, but they don't all break like within 6 months of each other. That's what I'm trying to say. So what happens is, as an aftermath, so I don't play tennis for a couple weeks, and then I decide to come back, but I'm feeling like really anxious because, like, what if he talks some shit to me? Am I going to be able to keep it together? That's what the crux of the whole thing is. And I talked to some other friends, you know, should I go back and start playing? I don't really know. And they're like, you know, just forget about it. Like a lot of people who are don't have the sensitivity to understand the situation. Just ignore them, dude. Just ignore them. Like, it's easy for you because your emotions aren't caught up in that. Some bicyclers right there. Bicycling. So, like I said, sometimes you feel alone because people don't understand the emotions and the anger that you wanted to. I really wanted to kick that guy's ass. Is really what I'm trying to say. I really wanted to beat the shit out of that 70-year-old because he fucking asked for it and begged me for it. But I'm not the kind of person who's gonna beat up an old man and get arrested for beating up a 70-year-old and kicking the shit out of him like he deserved it because he ran his big effing mouth. So anyway, let's not lose your cool here. All right. 4 seconds in, and hold it 4 seconds, and 4 seconds out, 4 seconds in, and then hold it 4 seconds out. Okay, now we're good. All right. Oxygen is a miracle tool. All right, let's try to get to the end of the story. Let's see if we can figure out how to do this in like the next 5 minutes. So I end up going back, and there's no incidences really for the first couple of weeks. Because I told them, don't have me play Brad. Gee, you impatient little bitch. I hate people do that. And did I say bitch? No, I meant nice lady. So, several months later, I end up playing him. And it was fine. He shut his big mouth. I think in a way I intimidated him. I intimidated him because of what happened. Like, in a way, everybody else was intimidated from him because of his craziness. Everybody was afraid to say anything. Maybe I'll sit down and take a little break. By this nice, whoops, almost busted my ass. Did I say ass? I meant rear end. All right, so, wow, that's a really fucking great looking house. All right, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to show you this real quick. This is like some kind of medieval freaking castle back here that I've never seen before. What the hell is this? Look at this place, man. Whoa. This looks like something that should be in the English countryside. I've never seen this building before, wow. Can you, I'll have to come back and shoot this. Can you see that little parapet thing? There's like little, what do you call those things? Not the thing on top, but that little thingy right there. That is amazing. There's like freaking gargoyles out front. Wow, I'm gonna have to come back by here and do another video about this place. All right, it's 1608. And this is like a one-way, like rich person street. Wow, look at that, man. It's got a freaking clock up there. I think it's for sale too. It's probably 3.5 million. If you got a couple extra dollars hanging around, you can buy this place. That's pretty crazy. This is one of those one-way streets, like a private street where super rich people live and they have big fences and stuff. I didn't even know this was back here. Wow. So look at this house and compare it to this freaking English countryside mansion. That is crazy. I'll have to look that up online, sorry. This is how I find a lot of interesting stuff that I do in my videos, like when I go exploring and stuff like that. I just walk by and I'm like, who knew that house was back there? I've never even heard of that house. It probably has some interesting, you know, somebody probably died in there or something and there's ghosts and that's why they have gargoyles to protect it. Anyway, all right, back to the story. Let's focus. All right, so we play the one match, everything's fine. He doesn't talk to me, I don't talk to him, and at the end of the match, you usually shake hands. He refuses to shake my hands. That's the only thing that really happened. So fast forward to another match. So I thought, well, actually I can play with him, so, but I don't want to, really. And I don't have to do, the thing I want to impress upon you is, this was all by choice. You know, I wasn't obligated by anything that I signed to play. I could have just quit. And psychologically, I was thinking, I'm a big pussy if I can't go play tennis. This is what I was fighting against myself with, okay? I was fighting against myself. If I'm gonna let some old man intimidate me into not doing something I enjoy, because surely there's other people I can play with, then I'm a big pussy, essentially. I am letting somebody else control me. I'm letting fear control me. And I was watching this HBO documentary called The Vow. It's brand new. And it talks a lot about how outside influences and people can influence you to do crazy, crazy shit. And it's not like people were trying to like make me go back. Why is there so many cars right now? But it got me thinking about this. This is kind of what got me thinking about this today, is watching this Vow series. It's on HBO. It's like about the NXIVM cult or organization, whatever. It was where that guy went to prison because he was trafficking in women or slavery and doing all kinds of stuff. And check it out. It's called The Vow. Anyway, it kind of stirred up these thoughts, and I wanted to relate them to you to just show that, you know, we all sort of have mental struggles. And I think that I was thinking other people are thinking that I'm going to be a pussy if I don't go back and play. And I didn't want to be seen as that guy. The guy, somebody just yelled, "Hey." He thinks I'm a pussy too. He was agreeing with me that I was being a pussy at that point. If you're like a millennial and if you're offended by the word pussy, I'm sorry. That's the word I grew up with, is like a coward, a wimp, diary of a wimpy boy. And when I was younger, I was afraid of a lot of things. So as an adult, I sort of went through some counseling and decided that I didn't want to be pushed around by people. So this is part of the thing, that I didn't want to be seen as a wimp, and I just left because I was weak. You know, I don't like being other people thinking that, and that's a thing in itself. Is you're more concerned about what people think of you than you think of you. And there is probably a mix in there. This is sort of the resolution of what this whole story is about. Is, did I do this for other people? Was I doing it for me? Did I truly enjoy playing tennis? Yeah, I did. Did I truly enjoy, like, you know, the camaraderie? Because we actually used to go out on like one day a month, and we used to go all, what am I trying to say? Go out to like a restaurant. We'd have a couple of beers after the tennis match. So there was some camaraderie. But the whole thing was, there's that elephant in the room that was always there, and it was uncomfortable just seeing the guy. And it wasn't fear. I think it was anger and wanting to get back at this guy for what I felt that he did to me, psychologically, because I thought about it a lot, and I bounced it off a couple people. And I'm like, what is my motivation, you know, that I'm feeling, you know? Because when in counseling, they teach you about what is the feeling. What are you feeling? Not like, I want to beat this guy's ass, but why are you angry? What is it about that specific thing that is making you angry or anxious or stressed out or whatever you want to call it? And the feeling was more like anger. I just wanted to go out and punch that guy in the face, and that would make me feel better. I don't normally do that, but I just imagine in my head punching somebody in the face and then knocking them down. That seems like it would relieve a lot of stress, right? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see if I ever punch him in the face. But anyway, I'm trying to be funny. If you can't tell, I'm trying to be satirical. So there was one incident after that where we're playing, and Brad's opposite, playing doubles. He hits a ball over the net to the server, and it hits me in the back when I'm not looking. So I turned around and I'm like, well, I'm basically going like this, like, what the fuck, dude? And Brad's partner, who I was good friends with, said, "Say you're sorry, Brad." He didn't say anything. So he actually said it like 3 times. He said, "Say you're sorry, Brad." Nothing. Didn't say he was sorry. Usually, like I said, tennis is a friendly game. If you accidentally hit somebody, you're like, "Hey, dude, I'm sorry." It's done. People realize that the accidents happen. This felt like it was more on purpose because I had my back turned. And it wasn't hard, it was just it was like a pussy move. Sorry if you're offended. Pussy move. Sorry if you're offended. And what the thing that was going through my mind is, I'm not going to let him make me angry. I'm going to be in control of myself. I'm not going to let somebody else's actions drive my emotional, direct my emotions. I'm in charge of my emotions, and this is like some of the kind of things that you can learn through philosophy or therapy, or certain kinds of self-help books and stuff like that. Is what they teach you is you're in control. You're the person who's in control of your ship, and if you react to every asshole out there, there's plenty of them. Look, see, there goes an asshole right there. It can push you, and you're not even aware that you're letting some jackass in traffic direct your emotions. And I let that stuff bother me all the time. But I'm also aware of the fact that I can be in control of whether I get pissed or whether I can just breathe and let it go. So that's what the whole story is about, is reacting to assholes, because there's always going to be one. Assholes are like excuses. Everybody just got one. That's a quote from a movie. If you know the movie, put it in the comments if you know which movie that's from. Side trivia question. All right, so that's about it for today. I told you this is going to be a long one. If you're actually still watching, that's amazing that I actually held an audience for some 41 minutes. So I wish you guys the best of health during this COVID fun time. And thanks for listening. And when you guys respond, I usually respond back. And I actually have a merchandise page at spreadshirt.com, which I never mention because I'm not into like the whole merch thing. But if you feel like the need to really get a t-shirt and maybe drop a couple coins my way, that's fine. It's something, if you search like Spreadshirt / johnswift.com, or it's like spreadshirt.com / John Swift. I always forget to put it in the links because I'm not in the business of selling t-shirts. But if you'd like to buy, that's good. You guys have a great day. I'm going to have a great day. We'll see you next time.